Okay.
Hello and welcome to Homeschool MBA, where we talk about different management business administration topics. Thank you for being here. Let's get started. So, the agenda today is managers and leaders in an organization based on typical MBA classes or typical work experience. Um, Created a one-page slide on managers and leaders. Hello, Professor. How are you doing? Let's talk about managers and leaders and give the audience an overview of the differences and similarities between them.
Thank you very much. Uh, Basically, it's difficult to differentiate between managers and leaders so commonly because the career path is that you move from management to leadership. Different managers and leaders have defined this path differently. However, what is most commonly used is that managers get things done through others, through rules, regulations, procedures, SOPs, and job descriptions. And they just, supervise. As against leaders, they can direct and do it themselves also. So that's a very fine difference between them. That leaders, they try to, not to be dependent even, on their immediate staff, and they can really lead from the front. And then there are different, leadership approaches, like leading from the front, leading by example, leading from behind, leading with absence, and so on. Surgical leadership and collective leadership, and participative leadership and transparent leadership. So there are a number of leadership styles. So what it proves is that the managers, they ultimately, some of them, they become good leaders. However, at management level, there are some kind of differences between them. That is, the managers are, short-sighted. They believe in immediate results, and they also differ in strategizing and emotions management of their staff, and especially the problem solving. So therefore, just to be specific about it, let's see that what the managers do and then what the leaders do. Management skills and functions under managers. Managers are normally goal oriented. They define their tasks, their goals, their aims and objectives, and then they, allocate tasks to their subordinates, and then they get things done. They supervise and monitor, etc. Then they are also involved in planning and budgeting. Now, about planning, some managers say that it is waste of time. The others say no, well planned is half done. Both are true in a way that sometimes the planning is only a showpiece. You plan a very big project and you have, planning document and you place it in your book rack, and that just to show that this is my planning. But on ground, you are doing things differently, much different than what you planned. And that could be because of the situation or because of, on-spot decisions. Similarly, the managers, they also manage about the budgets, required for, excuse me, for achievement of their goals. They are also involved in, organizing resources and then organizing staff, recruiting them and shifting them from one place to the other and things like that. And of course, controlling and problem solving is also part of their responsibilities. Now, providing resources and job description makes it easy for the managers, because when they describe the job, then every individual working under them knows what, when, where to do, and has the resources to do. Therefore, they are likely to achieve the objectives. As I said, that they believe in immediate success and they are result oriented. And again, some people, some managers, they are very conservative in their planning and strategy development, because they do not want to see beyond couple of years or beyond annual closing and things like that. So normally they are reactive rather than proactive. Reactive are those people who learn from their own mistakes, whereas proactive are those who learn from others' mistakes and they are prepared to accept the change and they are well prepared to manage the change. So managers, another objective is always to minimize the risk. So this is generally how the managers, do their work. And as against leaders, now leadership skills and functions are totally different. Leaders are futuristic. They strategize, they visualize that how their company or how their business would look like after 10 years or 15 years, and how would they reach there, and what are various options available to them. And that is called strategic planning. Now, strategic planning is a long-term planning, which is sustainable, and it has various alternatives within it and options. So the leaders, whenever they find a situation which is different than normally if they had foreseen, so they go for the alternative solutions. So the good leaders, they lead from front. Now, leading from front means that leading by their own example. They they can go and do themselves things, and they demonstrate to the people that how to do. And for doing that, they align the people that follow me. So that's a kind of attitude they have. Follow me if you can. Motivating and inspiring through their personal mentoring and personal kind of looking at the weaknesses and strengths of their staff, and then improving them and giving them training, and building their capacity, and looking at their looking and improving their welfare and their family benefits and things like that. And they realize themselves without the staff asking them. So another very big difference between managers and the leaders is that the leaders are ready to take risk, because if you don't take risk, you don't succeed. Success is always, based upon various kinds of risks that you take. More risk you take in life, more success you can achieve. Prepare to take unpopular decisions. Normally, the leaders, they don't care whether the decision that they are taking will be welcomed by their staff or others. If they are convinced that the decision is right, they would go for it. And what we say, that they are not afraid of taking unpopular decisions or difficult decisions. Let's say unpopular decision, difficult decisions. Proactive and change oriented, as I said, they are always ready to accept the change and they are prepared for change. They have a very high emotional quotient. They can tolerate any kind of behavior of their subordinates, their followers, and they respect their followers' behavior and their approaches and things like that. And then the managers, the leaders normally motivate their followers by accepting their suggestions, their recommendations, and by serving their requirements and things like that. So therefore, what we say is that career path is from management to leadership. So you may start as a very junior manager in a company, and then through tenure system, through your experience, you move from junior position to operation management or strategic management or middle management, and then senior management. And ultimately, you move to the leadership. So that's how the equation works between managers and leaders. Yes.
Okay, Professor, a couple of questions. I guess first question, you did touch on it, but maybe, let's revisit that. Are you, in all these books we read and classes and in real life, are you a born leader, or, one can become a leader? How do you answer that?
That's a very good question that you're asking. There are some leaders who are born as such, and some leaders achieve leadership, and upon some, the leadership is thrust upon. Like, for instance, those who are born leaders, they are natural leaders, and normally they are political leaders, like, Einstein, or Abraham Lincoln, or Nelson Mandela, or, things like that. They are born with those qualities, or, those successful people. And then there are people who acquire leadership. Now, these are basically the managers. They, through their, as we explained earlier, through their experience and through their training, and through their achievements, they acquire the leadership qualities. So then there are certain people upon whom the leadership is thrust upon, like, son of a chief executive or owner of a company becomes the chief executive after his father. So that is a kind of inheritance of leadership. So there are three types of leaders: born with leadership skill, those who acquire leadership, and those upon whom the leadership is thrust upon. So this is how this equation works. Yes.
The second question, I guess, as one is going through their career path, you develop expertise either on your operations or management side, or leadership and strategic side. How does one know, what is his or her forte, or is one good or one bad, or you just move and take it as it comes?
No, it's basically your own, skills that you developed through your service, and the experience that has been given by the company to you. As we discussed earlier, there are some, technical skills, and then there are communication skills, and then there are financial skills. So it depends that what kind of skills you have developed. That skill set will determine your career path, that how you are going to proceed. So if you have technical skills, naturally, so you will be going towards the technical side. But if you have, let's say, financial skills, so you can go toward the financial side of the company. So that's how it works, basically, that what kind of skill set you have.
Okay. Another question is, I've often noticed in companies that, when you have senior positions, some companies promote people from inside, and some people or some companies get, management or leadership from outside of the company. What's your take on that in the context of what we've learned over here in terms of management versus leadership?
You see, both are correct. Basically, it is a mixture of the two. You cannot solely depend on internal promotions and then running the company, because the technology is moving so fast that you need to have young people from the market, those who have the latest knowledge of the technology and the latest knowledge of the subject, and they are available in the market. And then you also need those people who have gone through this company. They are called as gurus of the company. So the mixture of those. But those people, let us say, it depends that at what level you are trying to induct the people from outside, or at what level are you promoting from within it, the company. If you are promoting, let's say, from within the company as the chief executive, that may be a good idea, because that chief executive knows exactly that what has happened in the past with the company, and inside out. And as against if you take a leader from the outside, so no matter how experienced and how outstanding he or she may be, they will take some time to understand the operations of that company, the strengths and weaknesses of the company, and for that matter they carry out the corporate analysis, what we refer as analysis through paralysis. So it's not simply that they just sit down and understand the company. So they take almost weeks and months to carry out that analysis. And while that analysis is being carried, then all other functions are going very slow, and things like that. Therefore, we call it that analysis through paralysis. But to sum it up, both are correct ways, that you have to have a fresh blood from the market, and you have to have people from within the company to reach the higher ladders of the management. So that company would succeed, which has the mixture of the two.
Okay, Professor, last question. I've noticed when new CEOs or new leaders come in, or VPs, they bring their own staff when they shift from one company to another. What's the reason for that? Why? And then what are the pros and cons?
Well, this is basically those who bring their staff with them. Actually, they bring their mentorees, because they have mentored different people in the organization, and they depend on them, and they believe in their strengths, and they know their strengths, and they know that they can deliver. On the other side, that staff, what you refer as, they also understand the thinking of the leader, and they like to help him, so they bring them along. There is nothing, no harm with it, as long as it does not affect the internal staff who was already working for the previous chief executive. So the good leaders or the good chief executives would make again this mixture, that they bring their personal staff, and then also the existing personal staff over there, they mix them up, and they'll try to create a coordination and kind of cooperation between them, and make a team, and that team will help them. And now he is ready to take various those unpopular decisions, because the staff working under him are ready to implement his orders whatever way he wants. So that's the kind of situation.
Okay, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe to all our social media.
Thank you very much.